The rain came down in sheets, hammering the roof of the old diner like it was trying to break through. Inside, I sat across from Lucas, my best friend since we were kids stealing comic books from the corner store in Portland, Maine. His hazel eyes, usually so steady, flickered with something I couldn't name, something that made my chest tighten. "Eli, I gotta tell you something," Lucas said, his voice low, almost drowned by the storm outside. He leaned forward, his calloused hands gripping the edge of the table like it was the only thing keeping him grounded. "It's big, and it's gonna change things." My heart stuttered. Lucas wasn't the type to get heavy. At 25, he was the guy who'd charm a room with a grin, the one who'd drag me to dive bars and laugh off life's messes. We'd been inseparable since we were 12. Two kids navigating a small coastal town where everyone knew your business. I'm Elias Carter, black, queer, and never quite fitting into Portland's mostly white, straight world. Lucas Bennett, white, straight as an arrow, was my anchor, always had been. But now his jaw was tight, his knuckles white, and I felt the ground shift beneath me. "What's up, man?" I asked, trying to keep my voice light, though my pulse was racing. The diner's neon sign buzzed outside, casting red light across his face. He didn't answer right away, just stared at his coffee like it held the words he couldn't say. "I'm not who you think I am," he finally muttered, so quiet I almost missed it. His eyes met mine, raw and searching, and I swear the air between us crackled. "I've been lying. To you. To myself. For years." I froze, my fork halfway to my mouth, a greasy fry dangling like it was caught in the tension. "Lying about what?" My voice came out sharper than I meant, but dread was clawing up my throat. Lucas wasn't a liar. Not to me. Not ever. He ran a hand through his messy brown hair, the kind of nervous tick I'd seen 1,000 times when he was about to do something reckless, like the time he jumped off the pier into freezing water on a dare. "Eli, I'm not straight," he said, the words tumbling out like they'd been trapped too long. I think I'm in love with you." The world tilted. My fry hit the plate. The diner, the rain, the hum of the jukebox. It all faded, leaving just Lucas, his face open and terrified, waiting for me to say something. Anything. Couldn't breathe. Lucas, my Lucas, the guy who dated half the cheerleading squad in high school, who'd spent years talking about his type, tall, blonde, female, was sitting here telling me he loved me. My mind reeled, replaying every moment we'd shared. Late-night talks on his roof, the way he'd sling an arm around me like it was nothing, the times I'd buried my own feelings because he was straight, untouchable, safe. "Say something, Eli," he pleaded, his voice cracking. "Please." I wanted to laugh, to cry, to scream. Instead, I pushed my plate away and leaned back in the booth, trying to process. "How long?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "How long have you known?" He swallowed hard, his Adam's apple bobbing. "Since we were 16. That summer we camped at Acadia. You were you, man. Laughing, fearless, telling stories by the fire. I looked at you and felt something I didn't understand. Scared the hell out of me. I remembered that trip. The way the stars had felt close enough to touch. The way Lucas had looked at me when he thought I wasn't paying attention. I chalked it up to wishful thinking, to my own stupid crush I'd locked away years ago. "Why didn't you say anything?" I asked, anger creeping into my voice. "All this time, Lucas. Years." "Because I was a coward," he said, his eyes glistening. "I grew up in a house where my dad would have kicked me out for even thinking this. I told myself it wasn't real, that I could just be normal. Date girls, play the part. But I can't anymore. Not with you." The diner door swung open, letting in a gust of cold, wet air. A couple of truckers shuffled in, shaking rain off their jackets, but I barely noticed. My world had narrowed to Lucas, to the way his hands trembled, to the truth he just dropped between us like a live wire. "I don't know what to do with this," I admitted, my voice raw. "You're my best friend, Lucas. You're everything. But this is a lot." "I know," he said, leaning closer. "I know it's a mess, but I had to tell you. I couldn't keep pretending." The waitress came by, refilling our coffees, oblivious to the earthquake happening at our table. I stared at the steam rising from my mug, my mind a tangle of hope and fear. I'd loved Lucas for years, quietly, hopelessly. But now he was offering something I'd never dared dream of, and it terrified me. We left the diner and walked into the storm, the rain soaking through our clothes as we headed to the park near Lucas's apartment. Neither of us spoke, but the silence wasn't empty. It was heavy with everything unsaid. The wooden bridge over the pond was slick with rain, and we stopped there, the world around us blurred by water and night. "I need to know you mean this," I said, turning to face him. My glasses were fogging up, but I didn't care. "You can't just say you love me and expect me to what? Flip a switch? Risk everything?" Lucas stepped closer, his flannel shirt clinging to his shoulders. "I'm not asking you to have all the answers," he said. "I just need you to know I'm all in. I'm done hiding." His hand reached for mine, tentative, like he was afraid I'd pull away. I didn't. His fingers were cold, but they fit against mine like they belonged there. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. "Eli," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the rain. "I've spent years trying to be someone I'm not. But with you I'm me. The real me." I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to. But I'd seen what happened when people like me let their guard down. Portland wasn't exactly a queer utopia, and I'd had my share of slurs hurled at me, of nights wondering if I'd ever find someone who saw me. Really saw me. Lucas had been my safe place, but this was uncharted. "Then prove it," I said, my voice shaking. "Show me this isn't just some crisis you're gonna regret tomorrow." He didn't hesitate. He closed the distance between us, his hand cupping my face, and kissed me. It wasn't perfect. It was messy, desperate, tasting of rain and coffee, but it was real. My hands found his waist, pulling him closer, and for a moment the world made sense. When we pulled apart, his forehead rested against mine, his breath ragged. "I'm not going anywhere," he said. "Not unless you tell me to." I didn't know what to say. My heart was screaming yes, but my head was a storm of doubt. What if he changed his mind? What if this broke us? The next morning, I woke up on Lucas's couch, the memory of that kiss burning in my chest. He was in the kitchen making pancakes, acting like everything was normal. But it wasn't. The air between us felt different, charged with possibility and danger. "We need to talk about this," I said, sitting at his tiny kitchen table. "What happens now?" He slid a plate of pancakes in front of me, his expression serious. "What do you want to happen, Eli?" Because I meant what I said. "I love you. I want us." I pushed the plate away, my appetite gone. "It's not that simple. You're just figuring this out. But I've been living it. The looks, the whispers, the people who think I'm less because of who I am. You ready for that?" He sat across from me, his jaw tight. "I know it's not easy. My dad, he's already gonna lose it when he finds out. But I'm done living for him. I want to live for me. For you." His words hit hard, but they didn't erase the fear. I'd spent years building walls to protect myself, and now Lucas was asking me to tear them down. What about your family? Your job? You're a mechanic, Lucas. That garage isn't exactly a pride parade. He reached for my hand, his grip firm. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Together. But it wasn't just about us. That afternoon, we ran into Sarah, Lucas's ex-girlfriend, at the grocery store. She took one look at us, standing a little too close, our hands brushing, and her smile faded. "What's going on here?" she asked, her voice sharp. Lucas froze, but I didn't. "We're figuring it out," I said, my tone steady. "That's all you need to know." She didn't say anything else, but the look in her eyes told me this wouldn't stay quiet. Portland was small, and gossip spread faster than wildfire. By Monday, the rumors were everywhere. Lucas's dad, a gruff man who owned the auto shop where Lucas worked, called him into the office. I wasn't there, but Lucas told me later how it went down. Shouting, accusations, words like disgrace thrown around like punches. Lucas walked out, his job gone, his relationship with his dad in pieces. He showed up at my apartment that night, his eyes red. "I knew it'd be bad," he said, his voice hollow. "But not like this." I pulled him into a hug, my own fears pushed aside. "You don't have to do this alone," I said. "I'm here." But the world kept pushing back. At the bar where we usually hung out, some of Lucas's old buddies gave us the cold shoulder. A few whispered slurs when they thought I couldn't hear. I was used to it, but watching Lucas flinch hurt worse than any insult aimed at me. Still, there were bright spots. Our friend Mia, a bartender with a heart bigger than the state of Maine, pulled us aside one night. "You two are brave," she said, pouring us free beers. "And you're not alone. Screw the haters." Her words kept us going. But the real test came when Lucas's younger brother, Jamie, showed up. At 19, Jamie was a quieter version of Lucas, still figuring out his place in the world. "Dad's wrong," he told Lucas, his voice fierce. "You're my brother. I don't care who you love." That night, Lucas cried in my arms, and I realized something. We were building something real, something worth fighting for. Months passed, and the wounds started to heal. Lucas found a new job at a garage across town, one where the owner didn't care who he loved as long as he fixed cars. We moved in together, a small apartment with creaky floors and a view of the ocean. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. One evening, we walked back to that bridge where we'd kissed in the rain. The air was crisp, the stars bright above us. Lucas took my hand, his smile soft but sure. "I was scared that night," he said. "Scared I'd lose you. Scared I'd lose myself. But I'm not scared anymore." I looked at him, at the man who'd chosen me over everything he'd been taught to be. "You changed my life, Lucas," I said. "You made it bigger, braver." He kissed me then, slow and certain, and I felt the weight of the past lift. We weren't just surviving, we were living. The world wasn't always kind, but we'd found our place in it, together. As we stood there, I thought about the truth he'd confessed that rainy night in the diner. It hadn't just changed our lives, it had set us free.